Hi everyone, I'm Bill Wilson. You may recognize the name, but probably not the face. I'm the host and producer of the Wine for Newbies 2.0 podcast, and we're doing something a little different today. We are actually going to do a video podcast, and I'm not going to be over the top like Gary Vaynerchuk. However, obviously, this is the first time that I've ever done it, so things are going to be a little strange from my perspective. If you see my eyes darting around, it's because I'm not sure where I should look, or I've got some notes to look at, whatever. Anyway, what we're thinking is that we'll do a series of podcasts that are sort of let's pull out some wine, drink it on camera, and talk about it and see what we can learn. And so that's what we're thinking here. So what we're going to do, this is Saturday in September, Saturday 19th, we're going to work with a wine that I've got here. I've opened this up earlier, but it's the Chateau Beauchesne. It's a Grand Reserve from the Côtes du Rhône region in France. Let me see if I can figure out which way to turn this here. It's the 2004 vintage. As you can see, we've been in this earlier this week, and it's a nice red Rhone style wine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top off of it, and we'll pour a little. Now if you look, you can see maybe some of the color there. It's kind of a brickish red, kind of crimson perhaps. And from my research, that's pretty common. It's a nice color here. Let's give it some swirl and see what we can find out. It doesn't smell like there's too much alcohol in it, which is good. It has a nice aroma to it. This wine is 70% Grenache and 30% Syrah. Now, you're probably familiar with Syrah because that's the wine that we also know as Shiraz. There's a lot of Syrah grown in the United States. A lot of it comes from the Rhone region in France. They grow it in Australia. Very popular wine, nice and big, lots of flavors, and plenty of alcohol to go with it too. Now this one, I can smell a little bit of the Syrah on there, although I'm not sure, but we'll find out. Anyway, 70% Grenache, 30% Syrah. And this particular wine comes from the southern area of the Rhone Valley. The Rhone Valley is located in southeastern France. The red wines there are mostly based with Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvèdre. There are a bunch of other less well-known red wine grapes that are grown there and that are mixed in. The laws in the Rhone region of France say that the winemakers can use up to 13, I think it is, 13 varieties of these wines. And let's go ahead and give it another smell. Okay, well, as people probably know, I don't claim to have the best smelling talents here. Although some may think that my podcast smells. The reality is that I don't have a great nose, but I can tell you this. It's got very pleasant, moderate aromas. It's not overpowering. The alcohol is not burning off and into my nose. And you can see that it still has that nice, especially as I swirl it here, it's got sort of a nice brick red color. This is from the 2004 vintage, so it's just a little past where it probably should be consumed. Most of these Côtes du Rhône, you want to drink them within 2 to 4 years of their vintage, so we're just on the outside of it. Let's give it a try. Very nice. It has nice firm tannins that dry out the mouth a little bit, but they aren't too bad. They're certainly workable. The finish is nice and long. What would I pair this with? This is probably the most important question for you. Is I can sit here and say, oh yeah, look at the nice pretty color, and it's got some nice moderate aromas. Gee, it tastes good, but how would I describe it to you? I would describe it as a medium-bodied wine. It's rather similar to, think of a Merlot on a small steroid dose. It's not as big and tannic as like a Cabernet Sauvignon or something like that. Andrea Emmer Robinson, the master sommelier, she has recommended in the past that people who like Merlot should try Syrah. And I would say that people who like Merlot should try Syrah, Grenache, and all of these other things out of the Rhone region because they're really quite good. I'm going to have a little more just because this is my show and I guess I can do whatever I want. Yes. I'll continue to drink that. That's not a problem. The wine is quite nice. I would serve it up with something like grilled hamburgers. You could even do it with like grilled sausage, steak, beef, barbecue, barbecue chicken. It would work well with, and I'd probably look at any number of things. It'll go great with cheeses, or even just you could drink it by itself, and certainly no one's going to think you're crazy for doing it. So anyway, that is our very short 6-minute-ish look at this Chateau Beauchesne Grand Reserve, the 2004 Côtes du Rhône. It's 13% alcohol. You probably can't find it in the market any longer. I got it from one of my favorite retailers, which I probably shouldn't mention online. But it's definitely worth seeking out in later vintages if you can find it. It's probably a $30 to $40 bottle of wine, and it's quite nice. So match it up with some good, heavy food, beef stew in the middle of the winter. This would be terrific. And what I would suggest you do is a couple of things before we wrap up. Number one, you should go to the website at winefornewbies.net. I ought to be clever here. It says visual, right? So we'll write out Wine for Newbies.net. There you go. Winefornewbies.net. Yeah, see, I've got to get used to cameras working and things. So that's winefornewbies.net. That's where you want to go. You can find out more about this wine there, along with a link to the website of the winery that makes it, or the chateau that makes it. You can also buy the Wine for Newbies wine tasting course ebook. I could show it to you, except it's an ebook. It's a PDF file, so I can't really show it to you. But you can purchase that. It's on sale now as we speak. You can order it directly from the website. It's $14.95 US through October 1 of 2009, and then it's going to go up by $5. So it's still not going to be anything that breaks your budget, but you might want to go ahead and get it now while it's inexpensive. I know this seems like it's been kind of an awkward thing. Clearly, I do not have the television presence of a number of people. Hopefully that will change as we get a little bit more comfortable with this, and maybe I'll even let a little more of my personality come out of the shell. So anyway, winefornewbies.net, let's get it in there. That's where you want to go. And thanks for watching. If you're listening to this only, that's okay. Winefornewbies.net, you probably know how to spell it anyway. But enjoy the rest of your weekend and the coming week, and we'll talk with you again real soon.